Please be seated. Well, good morning.
Good morning.
That was good. It's wonderful to be gathered here together, both in person and online, to celebrate Mother Nina's installation as the new rector of St. Bartholomew's Episcopal Church in Poway, California. And thank you, Mother Nina. And thank you, Mother Nina, for the invitation to share a few words, not only for this beginning, but this beginning for everyone, for this community of St. Bartholomew's, but the larger community of all the people this faith church, this faith family has touched and enriched. So let's get down to business. St. Bart's, you have a new rector, and she is just getting started. As often happens over the lifetime of any community, the community of St. Bart's has had its share of ups and downs. The last few years have had some troubles. And yet, here it is today, strong, vibrant, excited, and curious about what areas God has in mind as St. Bart's embarks on a continuation of all the good it has done since its inception, but also to whatever is coming next. And this strength, vibrancy, excitement, and curiosity are sacraments. They're sacraments, outward and visible signs of inward and spiritual graces born of love, faithfulness, and resilience. There are so many examples of how that has been lived out in this particular blessed place. But one in particular comes to mind, and many of you will remember it. On Saturday, April 27th, 2017, at approximately 11:30, the unimaginable happened. A shooter armed with an AR-15 rifle entered Chabad of Poway during a service, killing one woman and injuring several others, including the rabbi. I was on staff here at the time, sitting in my office, when all of a sudden there was this cacophony of sirens as police cars and sheriff cars and ambulances and other emergency vehicles were just going up and down, depending on what direction they were coming on Pomerado Road. Word soon got out, and given the lack of information in the beginning, we, like other nearby faith communities, had a myriad of concerns. First and foremost, for the people of Chabad of Poway, but also safety for our own people. A particular concern was that there was a funeral scheduled here at 2 o'clock that afternoon, and then our 5 o'clock Saturday Eucharist, which was also special because at that service, Deacon Cindy and her husband were going to be renewing their wedding vows, and so these were important events in this community. Questions, of course, arose as to whether or not we should cancel the services. But this community just immediately jumped into action because they said, before we make any decisions, we need more information. Jim Maceman, who was the senior warden at the time, called the sheriff's department to let them know about the upcoming services. Fortunately, by then or soon after, the shooter had been identified and apprehended, but the sheriff's department assured him that they would be present here for both services. In fact, they were present not just for that Saturday, but several weeks afterwards. A call for volunteers went out, and a good half hour before the funeral, folks from the congregation started congregating here and put on vests to identify themselves. And they were down in the parking lot and also up here near the sanctuary in order to let the bereaved family members and community know that this community was concerned about them and would do whatever it took to let them know that they are cared for and their safety was important. It was an extraordinary gift to a grieving family. And it speaks volumes about the charism of this particular community. Which brings us to the gospel reading chosen for this service. It is part of the larger, well-known narrative from the final chapter of John's Gospel, in which Jesus appears to the disciples while they are fishing. In the part of the story we just heard, Jesus has prepared a meal on the beach, and after it's over, he has this conversation with Peter. Now, much has been written about this particular interchange, but for now, let's just focus on Jesus' questions and admonitions to Peter, because they are his questions and his admonitions to all of us as well. Do you love me? Feed my lambs. Do you love me? Tend my sheep. Do you love me? Feed my sheep. Follow me. I once had a spiritual director who made the observation that we tend to focus a lot more on how much God loves us rather than how much we love God. And yet we see from this conversation between John and Peter, our love for Jesus is the necessary foundation for our following him. Our love for Jesus matters. It undergirds our resilience and faithfulness, and also helps us to be strong, vibrant, excited, curious, and ultimately loving in how we not only live out our faith, but also over time develop ever-deepening reservoirs of trust in God's faithfulness and love for us all, which not only helps carry us through life's inevitable hardships, but shows us Jesus in ways and in places we would never, ever know otherwise. Beloved community of St. Bartholomew's Episcopal Church in Poway, I imagine at least some of you have wondered over the last couple years if this moment would ever come. When, oh when, is our new rector coming? However, I want to remind you that in this meantime, you have hardly been stagnant. Yes, this community has been through some troubles and understandably has grieved at times, so I have a feeling that could be said for all the faith communities represented here today. But this community, which we're focusing on today, has also prayed, grown, learned, sang. Good Lord, this community sings. Served the bread and wine made holy, and made Jesus known to a world sorely in need of good news. And now, your new rector is here. Mother Nina brings incredible passion, vision, creativity, a desire for collaboration, organizational skills, not always seen as a necessary set of skills for clergy, but it is, right, Bishop Susan? Yes. As well as the strength, vibrancy, excitement, and curiosity that noted before is so part of the charism of this place. She unabashedly claims her love for God, which sustains, motivates, and importantly also gives her a place from which to seek rest, peace, renewal, and a deep reservoir of faithfulness and love for all. It is a way of living our faith that all of us are commended to follow. Mother Nina and beloved community of St. Bart's, those of us here have no doubt that God has great things in store for you. Claim your love for God and then hang on for dear life. I close with these words from the Reverend Carolyn Lewis for commentary she wrote on this particular passage from John. May they help to inspire and sustain all of us. And so Jesus shows up on that shore, hosts a meal one more time, and tells Peter, tells us, I believe in you. I know who you are, and I love you. And yes, you are exactly the disciple I need, the disciple the world needs, for God and the world. St. Bart's, you have a new rector, and together you are just getting started.